Good evening, all of you. Today, I just come up with a very interesting philosophical thought, and I just presented this thought in a model, and the source of this model is Wallace 1983, D. Basu 2002, and Beck 2010. So today, what we exactly discuss that is uh, means how we can use some techniques to test with theory, and it is basically means how a theory can be tested and how that leads to theory refinement, or also you can say that the improvement in that theory. And before I start, this is a philosophical thought before the grounded theory approach, because this philosophical thought means, if I'm talking about this model or the philosophical thought in the form of a model, what they are saying that a theory cannot be means generated, and it cannot be uh, means synthesized independently. So this is a philosophical thought, but later there are many ways we can build the theory, like grounded theory approach and all that comes into existence. And this philosophical thought is telling about that we can collect data, and we just through empirical generalization we just establish a theory, and this theory leads to hypothesis, and that leads to refining theory, testing theory. So this is also important in current scenario, because uh, if I'm talking about theories in social science research, I think in last 10 years there is no such theory, new theory come into existence that can be used in the management. Because if I'm talking about management and all this applied field of management, like marketing, like consumer behavior, there is no independent theory that is means grounded. Rather, these domains are using theory from the philosophy, economics. So uh, that's why if we are the means the researchers to establish a theory, then we can also use this philosophical thought. And what it exactly saying that when I'm talking about this model, that starts with this data collection. If you see, this is this is the first step. It will start with the data collection, and that leads to analysis of this data. This is the step 2. And when we analyze the data, then we come up with some empirical generalization. Means you draw the sample from the population, and based on the the findings on this sample, you just apply these findings to whole population. That is called generalization. And this philosophy is strongly believe that from generalization of the data or the findings can leads to a strong theory. That is the this is the point where from data collection to we just reach here, that is theory. because this philosophical thought is I think it's maybe it is uh, came before the grounded theory. So when empirical generalization is done and this theory is established, or you can say that the theory is now more strong to means use for means in terms of its uses. So that leads to here hypothesis means now this theory can be utilized in future research, or by the other researchers or in any other domain. And when this theory is used in a different domain, from this theory or by applying this theory, we can draw some hypothesis. And this hypothesis testing, right? When we test the hypothesis, or just formulating the hypothesis or the statements, solid statements, that leads to refining theory. Means when you just let's say, for example, there is a very very mm, you can say that established theory, and this theory is used in across in many fields, like not suppose TPB, that is theory of planned behavior. So I think all of you know this theory, that is theory of planned behavior. It is a basically it is a theory that is established by Eisen. And this Eisen, the scientist, he actually built this model, and from the theory of reasoned action. So when he built this theory, right? So because he rely on the theory of reasoned action, that is TRA, and now it is TPB, right? So when this TPB theory was established, then the future research, right, what they actually do in that, they collect the data and analyze the data on the basis of TPB fact, variables or the constructs, and they started empirical generalization, and that leads to theory. Means that the theory is now established in many domains. And by using this theory, now when we just let's say it is established in a particular domain, and now other domain wants to use this theory, then they can draw the hypothesis in their context. When they test it, then that leads to refinement of this theory or refinement of this TPB. It is theory from the domain of psychology, and now it is used widely, mostly means mostly used by uh, uh, the scholars in marketing, in consumer behavior, even if in online shopping behavior, in contemporary like social commerce, everywhere this theory is used. And this hypothesis also leads to testing of the theory in a particular domain, right? Or you can from data analysis, you can also directly using this the data analysis, you can test the theory. And from hypothesis, right, suppose you develop hypothesis, and that leads to testable propositions. Means you can test it by collecting data. Again collecting data, you can test these propositions. Proposition means the statements or the testable means is the relationship between two variables or the constructs. And here two important you know terminology I want to focus on, that is induction and deduction. It is always, uh, uh, many scholars, thought that, induction means that is theory building. Yes, it is the, process of theory building. But even if you want to establish a theory, right, in a particular domain, then you can also called, this process as a inductive or induction. Here, I am not saying about, theory development. Here, I am telling about, how, through generalization you can establish a theory. Once the theory is established, or you can say that the empirical validation of this theory is high, then it can be used in any field, and suppose, let's say, theory of planned behavior, right, that is absolutely in a psychology and in sociology, right. But again, now when someone, wants to use this in a marketing domain, then they draw, hypothesis in the context of marketing, and when they test it, and when they testing it, that leads to, refinement of this theory. Means now in the field of marketing, the empirical validation of this theory is happened. Once this validation happened, then it is called, that now the theory of planned behavior is refined in the context of marketing. And it is also in other way, you can say that, when many scholars or the researchers use this theory, it gradually, means refined. Maybe in some context, like, if we are using this theory in some context, there may be, all the, variables or the constructs of TPB is significant. Or in many domain or in many context, maybe, there are, some variables are very important, like subjective norm, attitude, right, and perceived behavioral control. All these three factors, maybe, in, suppose, let's say, take an example. For example, suppose, uh, in offline buying behavior, maybe, per subjective norm is very important. When we influence by others, then maybe, there is a high chance that, we are buying a product. But in online buying context, if you use this theory, maybe, there, this subjective norm, might have, less influence, or might be, there are another variable, like, let's say, recommendation or the review. There, this factor is more important as compared to the subjective norm. Then we can say that now we refined the theory, means attitude is important, perceived behavioral control is important, but subjective norm is not important in that context. So that is again, we can say that, refinement of this theory in the context of online and offline buying behavior. So in this way, we just, establish a theory. And basically, if, and this philosophy actually, if we talk about, Eisen, right, when he established this theory, then they come up with, means one new kind of variable. And in theory of reasoned action, they change that, the self efficacy to perceived behavioral control. In the same way, this technology acceptance model is also rooted from TRA, theory of reasoned action. And when you just rooted with a theory, means you just develop a theory from the existing theory. There, the theory development is not important, but testing that theory is more important, or empirical generalization of that theory is important. Again, when you just come up with a completely new theory that is not exist, means you will not rely on any existing theory and you just come up with a completely new theory, that is called grounded theory. Means you ground a new theory, and this model is not applicable for the means like this grounded theory approach. And here induction means the empirical generalization of that theory. This is very important. And deduction means, here another terminology, deduction means from the from theory we are moving to hypothesis, and that can be testable, and means we deduced this hypothesis or the testable propositions from the theory. In both way, you just using data and empirically validate the entire process. So this is a very important philosophy for the scholars, those who want to, let's say, want to establish a new kind of theory from the existing theory, not from the scratch. If that theory, or let's say that model, if empirically generalized, or the generalization of this model or the theory you developed from existing theory is high, then your conceptual model or your developed theory will be used in different domain or in by the future research, and that leads to either refinement of this theory, or testing of that this theory again and again, again and again. Now you just test the theory again. The empirical generalization will be high in some fields, or in many fields maybe empirical generalization is low. But once you empirically establish a theory, then the researcher, the future research can be think about to use your theory in a research. Because if I'm talking about an empirical research, there are thousands of research papers, and those who are means just go for the model testing. But there is no meaning of testing this model. If your model is very noble, you just come up with a new model from the existing theory. Then your first work is to know how you can generalize, empirically generalize the theory. Maybe might be you might be you use large sample size, large sample. You maybe large sample, use large sample. Maybe you test this theory in a different context. In this way you can empirically generalize your theory. Then it leads to hypothesis, and maybe there might be high chance that means a scholar in future will use this model. So I hope this is means clear that this conceptual framework or the philosophical thought by Wallace, D.E. Basu, and Beck in 2010. And in this way, basically the new scholars also can come up with a novel model or new model and go for the empirical generalization. That can be a theory, and this might be this model can be used in the future research. So I hope you understand this philosophy. I called it philosophy because it's a philosophical thought, definitely. And I hope you understand, and maybe you apply in your research. So thank you so much, and kindly share this video if you think that that this video might help other scholars or researchers, and kindly subscribe our channel. Thank you.